Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 332 based on novel. So let's start. With this grasp, waves were set off in the sea of blood. The raging sea of blood released a heaven-shaking roar. The blood-red sky beside Torsen twisted as if a powerful force was going to break out. Then the space was torn open. This crack was more than 100,000 feet long, and a killing intent that seemed to have been suppressed for countless years was allowed to vent for the first time. The killing intent was enough to make the entire sea of blood tremble. A pressure came out of the crack, and the sea of blood no longer raged, as the pressure pushed it away. Bursts of lighting came out and lingered around the crack. Torsen raised his head, revealing a cruel expression, and said, "Royal clan treasure god slaying spear, in the name of Torsen, descend." After he spoke, roars came out from the crack, and as the lightning flashed, a ray of red light shot out toward Torsen's right hand. Torsen grabbed it. This red light struggled for a moment and then stopped struggling. It turned into a crimson-red spear that was 1,000 feet long. There were arcs of lightning around it, and it gave off an unimaginable aura. Holding the spear, Torsen revealed a bloodthirsty smile and mercilessly threw it. There was a heaven-shaking explosion when the god-slaying spear pierced through the sky of this blood-red world. The sky seemed like it was going to collapse. The moment the spear pierced through the blood-red world, it moved even faster and penetrated many of the locations in the land of the ancient god until it reached the abyss. It was too fast and contained an aura that would shock even Nirvana Shatterer cultivators. The spear appeared as a red flash and moved like a dragon toward the cultivators fighting against the fierce beasts. These cultivators all trembled the moment the god-slaying spear appeared. Miserable screams echoed before they had time to react. However, as the red light flashed, all the cultivators that got close collapsed into a rain of blood, but this blood didn't scatter. It was all absorbed by the red light. No cultivator could resist the god-slaying spear, and in a flash, more than half of the thousands of cultivators that had entered died. The remaining few were being attacked by the countless fierce beasts. Only a bit more than 1,000 cultivators rapidly spread out in a panic. The god-slaying spear surrounded by the red light didn't go after the cultivators that scattered. Instead, it charged toward the oval entrance and charged out. The moment it left the land of the ancient god and appeared in the Sea of Devils, the entire planet trembled. An indescribable aura suddenly appeared. All the origin energy before it was forced back as if wherever the god-slaying spear existed, origin energy wasn't allowed to exist. The red light shined brightly, and the god-slaying spear shot out from the Sea of Devils. The ray of red light shot into the sky and the atmosphere disintegrated before the spear, allowing it to enter space without any resistance. After tens of thousands of years, the weapon of the royal ancient god clan appeared once more. The forces outside planet Suzaku all felt this heaven-shaking aura. Just as they were about to act, the god-slaying spear closed in on one of all heaven's thunder celestial temple palaces. There was a flash of red light as the god-slaying spear pierced the palace. The palace trembled and shattered into countless pieces. The god-slaying spear didn't stop, it pierced through all the palaces from all heaven, causing them to collapse. Even the corpse sect suffered a huge blow. All the coffins collapsed one by one before the god-slaying spear. Even the corpse puppets inside turned to dust. The Alliance forces suffered greatly. The god-slaying spear went through the crowds and miserable screams echoed. Anyone who got close was immediately killed. Among them was a Nirvana Shatterer old woman from the Alliance side. This old woman thought she could stop this god-slaying spear for a moment with her early-stage Nirvana Shatterer cultivation and used a spell. However, the god-slaying spear ignored all spells and directly pierced through her chest. Her eyes were filled with disbelief when she looked down at the hole in her chest. A moment later, her body collapsed and even her origin soul dissipated. Master Flamespark's pupils shrank. Him and other elders flew out. The corpse sect also sent out cultivators to attack the god-slaying spear. Just as these cultivators were about to attack, the god-slaying spear turned around and returned to planet Suzaku. It returned to the Sea of Devils and disappeared back into the land of the ancient god. A hoarse voice echoed across the planet and into space when the god-slaying spear disappeared. "I'm waiting for all of you." It was completely silent as Master Flamespark and the elders revealed serious expressions. Some of the elders' faces became pale and there was a hint of disbelief in them. "This? What is this?" What that Wang Lin said was true. Master Flamespark's eyes shined. He had come because it was an order from the person in all heaven he greatly respected. He had to come. After pondering for a bit, Master Flamespark shouted, "All cultivators, follow me to planet Suzaku." With that, he flew toward planet Suzaku. The elders and countless cultivators followed after him. The corpse sect pondered for a bit and then a voice that sounded like stones rubbing echoed. "Corpse sect, head out." The entire corpse sect moved. The swarm of cultivators with coffins flew toward planet Suzaku. The 8 people in front were surrounded by black fog and gave off a powerful pressure. The Alliance forces pondered a bit and didn't send all their forces. Half the people remained and the rest followed their respective elders toward planet Suzaku. At the same time, the existence at the bottom of the abyss in the land of the ancient god that was awakened by the fluctuations of origin energy slowly rose up. Its blurred figure was gradually revealed. Its figure wasn't very big, only 20 feet tall. It looked human-shaped, like a burly man. But what would make anyone gasp was this thing's neck. This neck had 18 branches that were as thick as pythons. It was as if it was made up of 18 pythons. There was a head on each branch. There were males and females, young and old. At a glance, this thing wasn't human, but a mysterious, ferocious beast. Legends about this beast existed, but they were not accurate, and this wasn't the only one of its kind. There was a spirit from ancient times called Ji, and it was shaped like a human. Instead of being born, it was created, and it became an adult after 3 days. It defied the heavens and died, and its head was cut off. A monster named Ji Cheong was born from its corpse. This beast was born with 1 head, and every time it devoured the world, it would gain another head and new spells. It dared to fight the world and could sleep for eternity. At this moment, inside the Rain Celestial Realm, compared to the land of the ancient god, everything here was peaceful aside from the cracks that appeared in the sky and the constant trembling from the earth. The cultivation levels of Wang Lin's group had completely surpassed what the Rain Celestial Realm could withstand. Just as they entered, one of the fragments collapsed, creating a huge suction that pulled the other fragments closer. Wang Lin stood at a high place and looked at the familiar Rain Celestial Realm fragments. His eyes shined as he recalled the past and gradually found the fragment where he once heard the call for help. 1. There were dozens of people around him, and they all looked at Wang Lin. They all had to follow Wang Lin's lead on this mission to rescue the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor. After all, he was the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor, and most importantly, only Wang Lin knew where the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor was trapped. Wang Lin's body moved. A thunderous rumble was created when he charged downward. No one hesitated to follow after Wang Lin. It was impossible to stay here for too long, or else it would cause the Rain Celestial Realm to collapse on a wide scale. By then, forget saving the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor, it would be impossible to save Qing Lin too. Therefore, they had to be fast. Everyone here knew this. Wang Lin moved quickly but didn't use his full speed. He flew in a very gentle manner in order to not trigger the collapse of the Rain Celestial Realm. They didn't meet any cultivators along the way. Even if any cultivators had come via the rain furnaces, once they saw the situation here and realized how unstable it was, they would all choose to leave in terror. Not much time had passed when even more cracks appeared in the Rain Celestial Realm. Rumbling sounds could be heard from afar and another fragment collapsed. Wang Lin arrived on the fragment where he once heard the cry for help. He clearly remembered that the call for help came from a mountain that looked like a lock. After landing on the fragment, his divine sense spread out and he immediately found that mountain about 5,000 kilometers away. Wang Lin quickly flew toward that direction. He got closer and closer. The Azure Dragon Divine Sect elders behind Wang Lin were filled with excitement. They had waited for this day for far too long. The higher their expectations, the more they were afraid of disappointment. At this moment, their hearts were filled with worry and even their Dao hearts had become unstable. A moment later, the lock-shaped mountain appeared in everyone's eyes. It was here that I heard the call for help. Wang Lin pointed forward. The Azure Dragon Divine Sect elders charged out toward the mountain. Save me, a very weak voice echoed as they got close to the mountain. Wang Lin immediately stopped, but everyone around him seemed to have not heard it at all. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he said, "Do you guys hear a call for help?" The rain celestial realm was covered in mist, and dust covered the sky, making the whole place look fuzzy. Many spatial cracks appeared and sucked in some of that dust. There were muffled rumbles coming from the distance. The dust began to move as if wind was blowing it. Aside from these sounds, the entire rain celestial realm was silent. When Wang Lin's voice echoed, even the Azure Dragon Divine Sect elders paused. Everyone looked at Wang Lin. A white-haired elder from the Azure Dragon Divine Sect said, "Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor, you. What did you hear?" Wang Lin frowned and began to listen carefully. The call for help was like a gentle breeze that blew by. It was obvious that no one other than him could hear this cry for help. Sichu Nan understood Wang Lin the most. Seeing Wang Lin frown, he calmly said, "There was no sound. It might have been an illusion." "No problem." Wang Lin shook his head and didn't mention it anymore. The elders from the Azure Dragon Divine Sect looked at each other but didn't speak. They jumped straight toward the mountain. Everyone else followed after them. Wang Lin kept frowning as he stared at the mountain that got closer and closer. If not for the information left on the shield, Wang Lin wouldn't have thought that the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor was trapped here. However, as he got closer and closer, the unease in his heart increased for some unknown reason. Just at this moment, one of the excited voices of a trembling elder of the Azure Dragon Divine Sect echoed. "It's the Divine Emperor. Look at this handprint, it was created by the Azure Dragon Divine Sect spell, the Azure Wood Print." The elder floated in the air and looked excitedly at the place covered in grass. After he spoke, the remaining elders of the Azure Dragon Divine Sect closed in and looked at the handprint that was deeply imprinted in the withered grass. "Open this mountain and save the Divine Emperor." The elders spread out, and the lead elder's hands formed a seal that caused the fragment to tremble. Large amounts of origin energy appeared when they revealed their Nirvana Shattera cultivation. At the same time, the images of several Azure Dragons appeared and surrounded the mountain. It was as if they were going to pull this mountain up from the ground. "Rise," the elder of the Azure Dragon Divine Sect shouted as the rumbling echoed. The mountain trembled and large amount of rocks fell off it. Waves of dust were kicked into the air as the roar of the Azure Dragons echoed. Those dragons that were wrapped around the mountain had actually lifted it up by several inches. The elders of the Black Tortoise Divine Sect and the White Tiger Divine Sect flew over. Their hands formed seals and an unimaginable amount of origin energy appeared. The shadows of black tortoises appeared behind these elders and went under the mountain to raise it higher. The elders from the White Tiger Divine Sect landed and used spells to raise the mountain. The mountain rose higher and higher, causing the earth to tremble even more violently. Muffled roars echoed across the sky. The elders of the Vermilion Bird Sect were no exception. They flew over and were about to use spells to help raise the mountain completely. Just at this moment, a ray of golden light came from the mountain and directly pierced through it. Then another ray of golden light pierced out from the mountain and lit up the whole area. In the blink of an eye, countless rays of golden light shine out from the mountain and made the mountain look like a sun. A large, golden lock appeared around the mountain. It was a shocking sight. The lock was 100,000 feet long and was covered in complex runes that flashed repeatedly. A powerful pressure spread out from the lock and the elders of the four divine sect were immediately pushed back. At this moment, Wang Wei and Hu Huan looked at the golden lock and were filled with shock. They looked at each other once again to determine they didn't see wrong. After hesitating for a bit, they didn't waste time and quickly retreated. Without the spells, the mountain slowly descended once more. Gather all the might of the four divine sect. There is no need to destroy this mountain, just raise it 70 feet. This lock was set by Celestial Emperor Qing Lin not to seal me but for something else. You must not allow the other thing to escape. At this moment, a weak but anxious cry came out from under the mountain. This time it wasn't only Wang Lin who heard it, everyone heard this cry for help. The Azure Dragon Divine Sect elders trembled violently. One of the oldest elders shouted excitedly, "Divine Emperor! This is voice of the Divine Emperor!" Wang Lin looked back at Wang Wei and Hu Huan before clasping his hands. I asked the two seniors to help. The two pondered a bit before Wang Wei let out a sigh and slowly said, "This formation indeed has Master's aura. Forget it." As he spoke, he waved his sleeve and clouds appeared under his feet and carried him toward the golden lock. Hu Huan let out a sigh and followed after Wang Wei. The two of them closed in on the golden lock. "We can only open this lock for one breath of time, so you all must be quick." As they spoke, a large amount of restrictions appeared around Hu Huan. Those restrictions gave off a ghostly light that immediately charged at the golden lock. Wang Wei waved his right hand and a mist appeared before him. The mist divided into countless parts and surrounded each of Hu Huan's restrictions. At this moment, the surrounding elders of the four divine sect didn't hesitate. The Azure Dragon Divine Sect elders quickly formed seals to use their spells. The elders of the remaining three sects all took out various treasures. This was the power of 35 Nirvana Shatterer elders. Not to mention this mountain, the entire unstable Rain Celestial realm would collapse instantly before this power. Everything was prepared. They were just waiting for the moment the golden lock opened. The couple took deep breaths and sat down in the air. Both formed a seal and pointed at the golden lock. The restrictions surrounded by the water mist unexpectedly formed a giant key. The key charged at the golden lock. In the blink of an eye, the key broke through layers of golden light and went into the lock. The light from the golden lock suddenly disappeared. At this moment, not a trace of the golden light remained. Wang Wei suddenly shouted, "Quickly, rescue him!" A breath of time was only a blink of an eye, but for Nirvana Shatterer old monsters, it was enough to use a spell. Rays of spells shot toward the mountain and, in an instant, started to raise the mountain. As the mountain rumbled, it was raised inch by inch. This mountain was refined by Celestial Emperor Qinglin, so it was not ordinary. Even without the golden lock, raising it was not simple. 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet. In the blink of an eye, the mountain was raised 50 feet. The more it was raised, the greater the pressure became. When it was raised to more than 60 feet but just short of 70 feet, a breath of time passed. The golden light appeared once and the giant lock appeared once more. The key collapsed and Wang Wei and Hu Huan were forced back by the light. The golden lock appeared once more, and its pressure increased several-fold. The 35 Nirvana Shatterer old monsters struggled to hold against this pressure. At this moment, a shout came from the bottom of the mountain and a ray of green light struggled to come out. There was an old man in an extremely sorry state with ripped clothes inside the green light. Although he was in a sorry state, his face was filled with excitement as he rushed out. At this moment, the wind surged in the sky above this fragment. The clouds split apart and a person appeared. This person wore white and looked a bit old, but his eyes felt like they contained the world. Just as he appeared, he caused the collapse of the Rain Celestial realm to become even more intense. "Looks like I arrived at the right time." This old man was the All-Seer. The moment he appeared, he charged toward the mountain. Wang Lin suddenly looked up. He had a bad feeling this whole time, but he didn't know if it was coming from the mountain or from outside. This was why he didn't personally act. At the moment he saw the All-Seer, Wang Lin's eyes lit up. Flames filled his left eye and thunder flashed through his right eye. A ball of fire and a ball of thunder appeared before him and immediately shot at the All-Seer. At the same time, Wang Wei and Hu Huan both used spells against the All-Seer. The All-Seer waved his sleeves, causing a surge of origin energy, and 3 avatars appeared. When Wang Wei and Hu Huan's spells got close, one of the avatars revealed a strange smile. This avatar formed a seal and a destructive aura appeared in his body, then he unexpectedly chose to self-destruct. A thunderous rumble echoed and All-Seer's avatar's self-destruction immediately spread. If that was it, it wouldn't be an issue, but at this moment, the other two avatars also revealed strange smiles and also self-destructed. The self-destruction of the three avatars caused an unimaginable impact. The earth trembled even more violently, and the fragment everyone was on began to collapse on a larger scale. The collapse of the fragment caused large amounts of cracks to appear on the ground. Wang Lin, this old man will help you save the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor. The All-Seer laughed as he used the self-destruction of his three avatars to push Wang Wei and Hu Huan back, making it so Wang Lin couldn't get close. He charged directly into the 35 Nirvana Shatterer Elders and, using the moment where they couldn't be distracted, unexpectedly charged into the mountain. At the same time, a rumbling sound came from the mountain. Even with the pressure of the golden lock, it didn't continue to sink but was pushed up 30 feet more. As a result, this mountain had been raised more than 70 feet, reaching 100 feet. The old man that struggled out from the green light looked at the All-Seer with a strange light in his eyes, but he didn't speak. He immediately charged out from the bottom of the mountain. As soon as he came out, he shouted, "All members of the Four Divine Sect, use all your spells to destroy this mountain." With that, he raised his right hand and mercilessly slammed down. An azure dragon more than 100,000 feet large appeared and gave off an ancient aura. The dragon opened its mouth and spewed out green gas at the mountain. The surrounding Four Divine Sect elders didn't hesitate to use their spells and bombard the mountain. At this moment, even more cracks appeared on the fragment and it began to collapse even more intensely. More spatial cracks appeared as if they were going to devour the world. The rumbling was heaven-shaking. Under the attack of the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor and the Elders' bombardment, large amounts of rocks fell off. Even the golden lock became unstable. As this went on, the expression of the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor became uglier. Just at this moment, a laugh came from the mountain and a crack appeared from its center. The All-Seer charged out from the mountain and revealed a rare look of excitement. He held a fist-sized blob of black blood as he charged into the sky laughing. The golden lock suddenly turned into a ray of light and followed the All-Seer. It landed on the black blood in his hand as if it was sealing it. However, the All-Seer didn't care about it at all. As he charged out, he mercilessly slammed down on the ground below him. The rumbling became even louder and the collapsing fragment collapsed even faster. A giant vortex appeared on the bottom and annihilated everything that was sucked in. Thanks to that slam, it wasn't just this fragment collapsing, the entire unstable Rain Celestial Realm began its final collapse. Muffled rumbles came from the heavens and earth. The Rain Celestial Realm was beginning to collapse just like the Thunder Celestial Realm. Wang Lin, I have to thank you for everything you've done. Someday, if we are fated, we will meet again. At that time, this old man will have become the Heavenly Tao. The All-Seer laughed like crazy and was about to escape when the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor, who had just escaped, revealed a cold gaze. His right hand formed a seal and pointed up. The Azure Dragon behind him opened its mouth and let out a roar. Then the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor lowered his hand and the Azure Dragon charged out in an attempt to devour the All-Seer. The moment the Azure Dragon charged out, the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor hit his own chest with his right hand and coughed out blood. The blood turned into a sword that entered the Azure Dragon. The Azure Dragon was immediately covered in a blood light. It caught up to the All-Seer in an instant and devoured him. A thunderous rumble echoed across the heavens and earth. The dragon dissipated, and the All-Seer's body was thrown out and two of his seals had been opened. Blood was coming from the corner of his mouth as he stared at the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor with smiled and said in a hoarse voice, "You are worthy of being the Four Divine Sect's strongest Divine Emperor. I'm happy to experience it." Then the All-Seer's body flickered and he quickly fled. The surrounding Nirvana Shatterer elders were about to pursue when the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor shook his head and shouted, "Let him go. That person's cultivation level is hidden too well. If we force him into a corner, the death count will be too high. It's not worth it. Besides, I have been trapped for too long and I'm all spent." After he spoke, all the elders of Four Divine Sect nodded in agreement. The Azure Dragon Divine Emperor's gaze fell on Wang Lin, and he slowly asked, "You're the new Vermilion Bird?" Wang Lin nodded and clasped his hands. "Greetings, Azure Dragon Divine Emperor. The Azure Dragon Divine Emperor carefully looked at Wang Lin and nodded after a long time. The Four Divine Sect is connected by blood, so I won't be saying my thanks. Wang Lin frowned and calmly said, "What was that thing the All-Seer took from under the mountain?" The Azure Dragon Divine Emperor's gaze fell on Wang Wei and Hu Huan. His pupils shrank and he slowly said, "Heavenly Dao blood." Heavenly Dao blood? Wang Lin gasped. I came with Master Xian Zhong and them as the first wave right when the Rain Celestial Realm collapsed. I originally came for the inheritances of treasure and spells, but I found a lot of strange things. The Celestial Realm was destroyed due to these mysterious things. As the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor spoke, the area began to collapse even more intensely. Everyone quickly flew upward. This Lock Mountain was placed here by Celestial Emperor Qinglin, and a crack appeared on it when the Rain Celestial Realm collapsed. I was brought here by Master Xianzong to enter together. An accident happened and I was trapped inside, unable to escape. Due to the existence of this seal, only a special kind of person could hear my cry for help. When the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor said this, he looked at Wang Lin. Although I was trapped, I found that blob of blood at the bottom of the mountain. It was what Qinglin had sealed. After studying for a long time, I still don't know its origin. However, my fourth heaven's blight descended. In that moment of crisis, I devoured the blood. There was a trace of fear in the Azure Divine Emperor's eyes. Just one mouthful made me unconscious, and when I awakened, the fourth heaven's blight had passed. However, there was no origin energy under that seal, so my fourth heaven's blight cultivation was empty and I still wasn't able to escape. I could only slowly waste away under the seal. As Wang Lin flew, he asked, "What is Heavenly Dao blood?" He felt that its aura was somewhat familiar. It vaguely felt like the blood rust on the iron sword. It also contained an aura similar to the crystals he found in the skull of that 8-star ancient god. You have to ask people of the Celestial Emperor about this. The Azure Dragon Divine Emperor's gaze fell on Wang Wei and Hu Huan. So it was like this, Wang Wei muttered, and he revealed a bitter expression. He had always guessed the reason why the Celestial Realm had collapsed. Now that he had heard the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor's words, he was a bit more certain about his speculation. On the side, Hu Huan softly said, "About 100 years before the calamity, a blood-like red rain that contained a strange force fell from the sky in the Rain Celestial Realm. Master called it Heavenly Dao blood." Wang Wei said, "No one knew what Heavenly Dao was, but Master guessed that the Heavenly Dao was a living creature. Since the time of the ancient Celestial Realm, rumor has it that the Heavenly Dao was already dead. If it wasn't dead, it was seriously injured. What fell into the Rain Celestial Realm was Heavenly Dao blood. Master collected all the blood and refined it until it was only the size of a fist. During that period of time, Master found people who devoured it, but all those who devoured it immediately turned into a pool of blood and died. Afterward, no one else dared to devour it." After that, Wang Wei looked at the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor with a strange gaze. Wang Lin's heart was shocked as he listened to these things he had never heard of before and gasped. Master believed that if the Heavenly Dao blood fell into my Rain Celestial Realm, then what fell in the other celestial realms were the other parts of the Heavenly Dao. Wang Wei looked at Wang Lin and explained, "It is indeed too shocking, but if you think of the Heavenly Dao as a person who was seriously injured and had his body torn apart to the point that even his origin soul was shattered into countless pieces and it all fell, then you understand." Although I don't agree with this point of view, it was mere guess from Master after studying the blood. While talking, everyone continued to fly into the air until they arrived at the platform where the gate of the Rain Celestial Realm was. After they landed, the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor said, "The cultivator that stole the Heavenly Dao blood seemed to understand it very well. However, he doesn't know that I have already devoured half of it. The reason it is still the same size is because half of it is my own blood. I want to see how he will cultivate with it." The Azure Dragon Divine Emperor revealed a dark expression and a strange smile. When everyone saw this smile, their hearts turned cold. "New Vermilion Bird, follow me back to the Four Divine Sect and tell me what happened to the Four Divine Sect. Since only you came today, that means the rest of the Four Divine Emperors have already died." The Azure Dragon Divine Emperor's voice was calm and there was no fluctuation in his mood. Wang Lin calmly took a step back as he got closer to Wang Wei and Hu Huan. He respectfully said, "Senior Azure Dragon Divine Emperor, Junior still has an important matter to deal with and can't return to the Four Divine Sect anytime soon." "Oh." The Azure Dragon Divine Emperor looked at Wang Lin, and Wang Lin calmly looked back. After a moment, the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor nodded and said, "That's fine." With that, he turned around and directly headed toward the giant rain celestial realm gate. The elders of the Four Divine Sect all followed. Only a few individuals looked back, but they all left without any hesitation. Even the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect elders were the same. "New Vermilion Bird, remember to return the holy treasure when you come back." From far away came the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor's voice that contained no emotion. This video will end here.